Hello everybody, welcome back to Learn, Share and Repeat with me, Peter Rising. Now, it's good to have you back with me again, but if this is your first visit to the channel, please do me an enormous favor and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me to grow my audience, and as you do so, please make sure you hit that notifications bell as well. That way, you will never miss a video. So those of you familiar with my content who've been with me on this journey for a while will see that I'm in my comfy chair today, and that means that there's no demo time. This is all going to be me sharing my thoughts with you, my wonderful viewers and subscribers and members. So if it's tech you want today, then go look at another video. But this channel is something that I started to share with you not only my tech expertise and the desire to pass on what I've learned and help others, but also, as you know, talk about the human condition quite a lot in my thoughts and experiences about mental health and well-being and neurodiversity. So I've talked about these subjects a great deal. But broader than that, I've always been extremely fascinated in, well, life, the universe, and everything. And if you are a Douglas Adams Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But essentially, I'm going to talk today about understanding what this is all about. Why are we here? What is the nature of reality? I don't pretend to have the answers to those questions. I don't even know what the question is. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy would lead you to believe that the answer is 42. Maybe it is. I've got to the point in my life, in my almost 52 years on this planet, where I just don't know. I don't rule anything in or out anymore. I'm open to evidence, shall we say. So that tells me and you that at this point in my journey, I am not a person of faith. I have been in my life, that is for sure. And with that being revealed, I think it's important to maybe tell you a little bit about my formative years and the influences and teachings that I had growing up. And my parents were people of faith, specifically the Methodist Church and latterly a United Reformed Church, or better known as Presbyterian, I think. So I grew up with my mother and father telling me about God, telling me about the Bible, taking me to church every Sunday. I went to Sunday school and I said my prayers, and I got that understanding drummed into me very, very early. So I took my parents' word at that, as you do. I trusted my parents. I still do trust my dad, who is still with me. My mother has passed. Where her spirit, soul, whatever is at this point, I do not know. But I trusted them. And I had no reason not to. And everyone around me sat on the floor in the hall at school and sang hymns and said prayers along with the teachers and the headmasters. And I didn't question it. I didn't understand it necessarily, but I didn't feel like I had to. It just was what it was. Now fast forward to my teenage years and into early adulthood, and I was really not so sure. And there are lots of influences in the world to make you question the nature of reality, what is true, what is out there, and question a little bit more. And to quote a favorite movie of mine, Star Trek, the motion picture, each of us at some point in our existence turns to somebody, a god, a father, a mother, and asks, why am I here? What was I meant to be? And is this all that I am? Is there nothing more? And science fiction has definitely helped me along my journey of comprehension in terms of what is the nature of reality. Is it religious? Is it pure science? Is it pure coincidence and chance that the Big Bang accidentally happened and here we all are? And evolution happened, and we have all sorts of theories in science which can prove or disprove exactly what is going on around us. And science is pretty cool, right? It's advanced our civilization to unimaginable levels of technology. Now, you could argue that our planet's technology and science has evolved faster than political and social knowledge and awareness. And that has led to some extraordinary and horrible conflicts and wars throughout the world over time and over history. And these sort of things seem to be revolving. And in many ways, it doesn't seem like we as a species, humanity, are learning any lessons. Those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. And for all the advancements we have made in terms of conveniences and technology that support us and help us in our everyday lives, I think, have we evolved as a species in terms of our own awareness? Certainly in terms of those who rise to lead us, rise to power. And my brain, my consciousness, my understanding of all that is here, all this, all what we do, cannot quite comprehend how we still, in this age, a quarter of the way through the 21st century, when we have all we have to make our lives better, that we still have leaders who initiate wars. That absolutely baffles me. And what does that come down to? To a certain extent, I suppose it's doctrine, dogma, religion, ways of thinking. Surely we have evolved past that, but it's clear that we haven't. So when I think of the world in those terms, it challenges my childhood indoctrination. I won't say it was a belief, because I don't think it ever really was with me. I don't really think I absolutely believed in a supernatural being, an almighty being, a god, a godhead, a guiding godhead, whichever version of that being. And there are many, because there are many religions in the world. And I should point out that if you believe in any of those religions, then I respect your right to do so. I am not trying to take that away from you in this churn of thoughts spewing from my brain into this video today. I respect everybody's right and privilege to believe what they choose to believe. But that does lead to disagreements, and there's nothing wrong with disagreements. We learn, or we should learn, to take delight in the differences of each other and respect those. But we don't do that. We fight and we squabble over them. And from my point of view, that is what has led me to struggle to believe in any sort of supreme being. Let's take the example of the Christian Bible, which is the one I was educated with. I really struggle. And I find the depiction of that being, especially in the Old Testament, to be a very vengeful depiction, shall we say. And that is what has led me more to wanting to believe in the scientific view of the nature of the universe, the nature of reality. That is particularly appealing to me in my darkest moments. And those of you who have been with me on this channel and have watched my videos on anxiety and depression and some of my darker moments, then this will make sense to you, that what I'm about to say. When I feel that way, I actually wish for nothing at the end of this life, this existence. I find the idea of a forever sleep with no dreams to be very restful. I really do. And that's a very appealing thought to me. But it's also quite a morbid thought that we do all of this and then there is nothing. But then that thought, that perspective leads me to believe that we just, in this reality, cannot understand what is potentially beyond that. And that brings me to two principles of reality and existence here on this planet, in this universe, that have baffled me, and many others, but baffled me for most of my adult life. And that is time and that is space. And my fascination with these two things, which are not really separate things, they are not really the separate things that they appear to be, in my opinion. While we're here, we cannot understand those principles, because the Big Bang banged and time and space was spewed out, creating the universe. And to my understanding from science, it is still expanding. So space had a beginning along with time, and this is why I think these two things are intertwined, certainly. But what became before that? What came before that? It's expanding ever outwards, but into what? What is it expanding into? And when and where will it stop? And that makes absolutely no sense to me unless this is a reality in which time and space are merely functions, tools in place for us as we are here. And that beyond, outside, however you want to describe it, because beyond, outside really speak to the principles of time and space. But if we were not a part of this reality, if we were beyond it, then we would instantly understand that time and space are actually an illusion. Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so. Another Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. So the thoughts about this churn around in my head endlessly as I try and make sense of it. And really, I'm starting to, in recent years, think that the point of it all is maybe not to try and make sense of it, because we never can. And while we are here in this journey, perhaps we are here to focus on what we are here to do right now. Now being a reference to time again. Now, then, what's to come? We are here, and we can only react to what is here. But the human spirit, the human drive, the quest for knowledge and understanding leads us to require that self-discovery of what this is all for. Now, another theory that has become very popular in recent years, I believe it originated around about 2003, I forget the name of the man behind it, is the simulation theory, where we are actually part of some sort of simulation, some sort of program initiated by something, someone, some species, some consciousness, some greater awareness. It's interesting to me that this theory originated not long after the Matrix movie came out, and you get people talking about how we are in the Matrix now. At this point, I can't prove or disprove anything, and I want to. So that means that I am not a person of faith. And that quest to understand, to know, to be aware of what the truth of this all is frustrating at times. It's also fascinating, but it's frustrating because I look at people around me who have a very powerful, a very strong, committed sense of faith, of belief in their own religion. And as I say, I have nothing but the utmost respect for those beliefs and the right to have those beliefs. And I find myself envying them because I don't have that belief, and I don't, in whatever time I have on this planet, in this existence, in this life, I don't believe that I ever will. Then again, I don't rule anything in or out. That is one of my maxims in life now. Never rule anything in or out. You never know where this journey is going to take you. That is so true of the path that I've been on in the last few years of becoming an author, becoming a Microsoft MVP, becoming a speaker, starting this channel, and meeting so many amazing people. I feel very, very grateful for that sense of connection and what it has enabled for me. Mainly the ability to pay forward what I have learned and share with others, especially younger, next generational talent, which I'm very passionate about. And then they will do the same, and then they will do the same. And the wheel keeps turning, and time keeps flowing, and space keeps expanding. But I do envy that sense of belief. Maybe I will have that sense of belief. What it would take for me, it would take absolute proof, beyond any shadow of a doubt. That's what it would take for me. And in the tail end of my indoctrinated upbringing of religion and believing in a God, I would actually, many times, as I'm sure many of you have, shout out loud and say, "For God's sake, if you're there, just bloody talk to me." My mother, my late mother, she deeply believed in God and something more than this, something beyond this, a heaven or a follow-up existence. I don't know if she believed in a hell. She was also not dismissive of the possibility of reincarnating. And I asked her once, and I really wish I could remember the answer to what she said to me, but I cannot remember. I asked her once why she truly believed. What gave her that confidence, that absolute, steadfast assuredness, if that's a word, that there was a God, that there was a divine being, that there was something more, and we were under that being's guidance and protection and control and care. And she answered me, and at the time that answer made perfect sense. It resonated with me, and I went, yeah. And all these years later, I actually cannot remember what she said to me, and I really wish I could. It obviously wasn't such a impactful statement that it remained with me, but it's one of those little contradictions in life. And there are lots of things like that when you go through life, aren't there? Things that you remember from past times. Here we are in time again. And you remember things a certain way. Others remember it a different way. And quite often it's not the way you remember it. And you were certain, you were absolutely certain that that's how it was. Little things. The simulation theory people would call that a glitch in the matrix, that it's the programming just course correcting itself, and what you thought you remembered was actually a mistake, and it's changed. And that leads into things like parallel universe theory as well. So we could go really deep into this. We really could. But yes, I do envy that sense of belief in it. But it would, for me, take that absolute proof. Now, one way or another, at the end of this particular life, this particular existence of me as Peter Rising, I will either find out or I won't. I will either cease to exist, I will go into that forever sleep. Right now I'm kind of hoping that's what it is. I will either ascend to a heaven or down into a hell, if that is accurate. There's a comedian there was a comedian in the UK. He died last year, I think. A fellow called Paul O'Grady, and he had famously said before he died that he really hoped he didn't go to heaven because he wouldn't know anybody there. And I sort of resonate with that. Again, this all comes down to understanding and perception, doesn't it? So there's those two options. Or there's the one I like the least, the idea of reincarnation. That you then reincarnate as another person, start another life, you're born again, you go through everything again, but you don't remember who you are. You are still you, but you don't remember your previous existences. Now, if that is true, you, all of us may have been through this cycle many, many times. That, to me, feels like the most depressing option. I know that this me won't remember that, so it kind of doesn't matter, but I will still be me, just without my memory. And I really don't like that idea at all. I really don't like that idea. It feels like you have spent an eternity building, learning, growing, building a house, brick by brick, brick by brick, brick by brick, and you finish it, and then you come to the end of this existence, and then somebody knocks it all down. A god comes and knocks it all down, takes away your knowledge that you've gained from all of that, and it makes you start again. That, to me, is the most depressing option of all, and I really, really hope that is not true. But I spend hours and hours and hours pondering this. I listen to all sorts of media on YouTube mainly, because, hey, I'm a YouTube guy, as you know. And I listen to people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is very much in the science camp, obviously. And I listen to people, long gone philosophers like Alan Watts, who I find to be extremely interesting. I really, really wish I had had the chance to meet him. He passed away 1 year after I was born, I believe, in 1973. If the reincarnation and karma principles of what this is all about are true, maybe I have met him before, I don't know. But many other sources of inspiration. Richard Dawkins, the God Delusion. I listen to him, and I appreciate his dedication to science, but his steadfast refusal to believe beyond science is where I feel most scientists are flawed, ultimately, because they can only prove what is applicable to this reality. They only can acknowledge this reality, not what is potentially outside of it, beyond it. And that is why, to me, science will always be useful while we're here, but ultimately flawed. Because to me, there's unquestionably something beyond this reality. There has to be, purely from the point of view, my point of view anyway, that time and space cannot actually be real. They are real here and now. time and space. But outside of this reality, beyond it, beyond this existence, they cannot be real because they don't make sense. Time started in the beginning. What came before that? There can't have been nothing. Nothing and something. Again, principles of this reality that we can understand while we are here. But I can't get my brain around there only being this universe, this reality. There is also the theory that the universe itself is a conscious thing, that the universe breaks itself into millions and millions and billions of pieces of consciousness, i.e. us, to try and figure itself out, to try and self-learn, and then it reincarnates. That's very, very often tied to reincarnation theory. I think that's a possibility. But what is the universe? What is the universe? What is the nature of this universal reality? It fascinates me. It absolutely fascinates me. I don't think there's anything more to say than that. I am constantly trying to understand more and more. The more I try and understand, the less I feel that I do, which is why I keep an open mind. I don't discount any possibility. If something is ultimately proven to me, then I will have to accept it. But until something is fact, absolutely, undisputably proven, revealed, then I can't have any sort of faith. And that's the whole nature of religion, though. You have to have faith, don't you? You have to have that faith. Proof denies faith. And without faith, a God is nothing. So many paradoxes. When you break these things all down, I do love a good paradox as well, I have to admit. I spend hours and hours pondering how certain things in movies make sense. Time travel, different dimensions, that sort of thing. A lot of movies, in my opinion, get these things wrong. Time travel, for example, in movies, they will change things. But if time travel really was possible, then you're not actually changing things. You are just ensuring that things happened the way that they always did. So if time travel was a possibility, then I don't think you can change anything. You just become a part of what was. Whatever happened, happened. Whatever happens, happens. But that's a whole different video, potentially. But there you go. Just a few thoughts. Thought-provoking, I hope. Not offensive, I hope. I will just reiterate one more time that whatever you believe in, whatever your faith is, your science, your the nature of your reality, I respect that. And I will discuss it. And I will listen. I will always listen. I think that's the key element that is missing in us as a species, and why we go around in these circles and have these never-ending conflicts in the world, because we don't listen to each other. And the need for power, the need for wealth, strength, overrides that capacity for listening that surely is the most important human quality that we have. Okay, enough. Let's wind up the video. If you did listen to all of that, well done and thank you. I hope you found it interesting. I certainly enjoyed sharing my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours back in the comments. or if I know you personally, please feel free to talk to me and we can share experiences and thoughts. But to wind up the video, as always, I will say, please do give me a like if you've enjoyed the video. If you didn't like it, you can equally feel free to give me a thumbs down. That's absolutely fine too. And if you want to hear more from me, do hit the notifications bell. That will ensure you never miss a video. And please consider becoming a subscriber and a member as well. There are many options for you to keep in touch with me and hear more from me. If this is your first video with me, it's not always like this. It's mainly tech related, but I do divert occasionally. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll stick around if you are new. Thank you all. Take care. See you on another video very soon. Bye-bye.